What we're gonna do today is I am gonna demo how to do a root touch-up on this client. And we are gonna make believe we had our consultation with her already. She is this is her color, she is naturally, and she just wants me to touch up her roots. We're gonna, for argument's sake, make believe that she's got about a 1-inch regrowth. Now 1 inch, if you're not sure what 1 inch looks like, one comb is 6 inches. Excuse me. Excuse me, okay. So one hair cutting comb is 6 inches. So you can kind of, usually regrowth is about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Usually if clients come in with more than that, we may have to even charge them more because then it's gonna take a lot more product, a lot more color. So we've had our consultation. Our client is, what the heck's going on today? Our client is gonna just get a root touch-up. So I chose a cool, a 9 NC, so a level 9, which, let me just get you this other thing so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So we're gonna talk about this. So level 9, remember the universal level system? Here's level 9. I would, if this was a first time I never saw this one before, I would take this and I would see where on that level is she matching up. She is closest to a level 9. Does that make sense, guys? So you kind of have to use your discretion on this. So she's closest to a level 9. And she wants to be cooler, which means we have to add what? A blue base, right? Cool is blue. It cuts warmth. Another word for it is ashy. It's always a blue base color. Violet can be cool too, but it's more in the pastel pearl family. So this is a straight natural cool level 9. The natural is gonna cover the gray, and the cool is gonna tone down that blonde so we get a beautiful, cool blonde out of it. So I'm gonna take my product, my color, and this product gets mixed 1-to-1. You read the manufacturer's directions. I open this. Now this is what I'm doing. I am putting it into my bowl. I am rolling this down like this. I don't know if you guys could see that. I'm simply just rolling the tube down. You can also use a key. You roll down to where there's numbers on the side of these tubes. Most tubes have numbers that show you how many ounces you have put in the bowl. Some color companies, you can actually measure your color on a scale and do that. Then I'm gonna need 2 ounces of developer, so I'm gonna make sure we're using 20 volume developer for her because we're looking for gray coverage. And you need the 20 volume to get her gray coverage. And then we mix our developer in here. Now we get our products nicely emulsified. Okay. We have our gloves on, we have our product nicely emulsified now. It's a beautiful creamy consistency. We have our customer all draped and ready to go. And I'm gonna start by doing a classic root touch-up procedure on her. So I go down, I'm gonna take these first 2 sections out. All right. Now, mind you, most people have the most resistant gray around the hairline. So we always wanna make sure that we get that. So this is a root touch-up, so how much are we doing? Only on the roots. Can you guys see that? This is a root touch-up on her gray. Obviously, if her gray came up a little more, then we'd extend that a little more. But for a classic root touch-up, we're doing down the middle, on both sides, and you wanna make sure you get that nicely saturated. because gray hair is resistant. Then we're going around the hairline. Also, make sure you get all those little gray buggers that are there. Gray coverage is the bread and butter of many salon businesses. You know, most people come in every 4 to 6 weeks for the root touch-up. It's super important that you do great gray coverage. Now, here's a trick. When you're coming to the sides, you can do what's called a bristle mixture, simply meaning you rough up the cuticle slightly where the hair is the most resistant, which is usually right there by the ears, okay? When I use darker colors, I always make sure I put a cold cream or a barrier cream around my client's face and ears. That way they do not get stained. Once again, I'm going to do a little bristle mixture only because this client always complains that her gray pokes through here first. All right, so we got our classic T-section. Now, state board procedure for doing this. Next, you take the small triangle in the corner here, one side, other side. Another slice. Can you guys see how I'm doing that? About 3 diagonal. And then you can start coming down vertically. Now, the reason why we have to make sure it's really important that we saturate the client really well and that the sections are thin is you want to make sure that this color is getting on all those gray hair. If you take thick sections like that, you are not going to get good coverage. There's going to be spotting. So the thinner the sections, the better your gray coverage is always going to turn out. This mannequin's a little high. I'm going to lower her because you guys can't see that good. Is that better? Maybe that's a little better. Okay. And now I am going down the sides horizontally. See how I'm doing this? Very thin, nice sections, keeping it very neat. Making sure they're thin. And making sure I'm getting that root touch up all on her roots so we can get rid of her gray hair. If you were doing a virgin color for the first time, the application is different. That is another video for another day. This is a root touch-up. Now you can use a brush, or some people like to use an applicator bottle to do their root touch-up. Most hair colors nowadays are very thick, so it's hard to do, but I will demonstrate what that would look like if you were to use a bottle of color, okay? So here would be your color. It would be the same idea. You would section this out with the nozzle, lift it up, and then put the color on, and with your finger following, you would mush that in. You see how I'm doing that? That would be the process for doing a root touch-up with a bottle. That's if you use liquid color or a brand that is conducive to being able to even put it in a bottle. Tube color is usually thick. Once again, we're on these side areas. You could do a little bristle mixture there, a little roughing up of the cuticle. Not roughing up of the scalp, just roughing